Hey, it's Dr. Glenn Livingston, author of Never Binge Again, here with another tip to help you stop overeating, stop binge eating, and reprogram yourself to think like a permanently thin person on the food plan of your choice. Well, I have a question for you. Would you kill a small kitten for some pizza or some chocolate or whatever your inner saboteur's personal slop might be? If you feel like that, then you are not that far off base. You are starting to understand how this all works. Now, I don't want you to kill a small kitten. Please don't do that. But that was a comment that I've seen on my forum. I've seen other comments that say something like, just hand over the chocolate and nobody gets hurt. And the reason that you will see that, the reason that it feels at times like you can't survive without that particular slop, like you might kill a small kitten or you might choke someone to get a bar of chocolate. Please don't do that. But the reason that it feels like that at times is because you are dealing with your survival drive. Your survival drive has been corrupted by industry, by all the bags and boxes and containers and flours and sugars and all of the artificially concentrated sources of protein and starch and salt and sugar and oil and all that kind of stuff. And all kinds of chemicals too. And the advertising industry has figured out how to push those evolutionary buttons to make you feel like you can't survive. And so as a consequence, we often feel like we can't survive, and we allow our biological survival drive to be directed towards these things that are actually toxic for us. They have a tremendous amount of pleasure, but they also have a tremendous amount of toxicity. And the way around this is to remember that feelings aren't facts. That it's supposed to feel in the beginning like you can't live without this. It's supposed to feel like you would kill a small kitten for a pizza or a bar of chocolate. It's supposed to feel like that, but feelings aren't facts. You're perfectly capable of having extremely intense feelings and restraining them. Jack Trimper uses an example of the monks of Tiananmen Square being able to set themselves on fire to make a point. I don't want you to set yourself on fire, but I want you to recognize that if human beings have the ability to do that, if human beings have the ability to go on a hunger strike until they die, that it is entirely possible to override your survival drive and make the right choice via your intellectual values and morals, et cetera, et cetera. So what should you do? You should remember that feelings aren't facts, that it's perfectly normal to feel like you can't survive without X, Y, or Z thing that you know you shouldn't eat. To go ahead and not eat those things anyway, but then at that moment, find something that your survival drive really should eat. Use your intellect, not your feelings. Feelings aren't facts. Use your intellect at that moment to decide what would be best for you in your personal scheme of healthy food. And for me, that's very often a big green smoothie. If I'm craving something salty, then I'll usually have celery and greens with some lemons and tomatoes in it or something like that. If I'm craving something starchy or sweet, then I'll usually have a whole bunch of fruit and a whole bunch of greens, because then I get the chlorophyll and I get the energy and the fiber from the fruit. But that's up to you. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. That's really up to you and wherever you get your nutritional information from. But what you want to do is separate from those feelings at the moment, make the decision with your intellect, tell yourself that feelings aren't facts. It's okay that you feel like you can't survive at the moment. You're supposed to feel like that. You're not supposed to believe me that this is going to work. You're just supposed to try it. If you'd like more help to stop overeating, stop binge eating, and reprogram yourself to think like a permanently thin person on the food plan of your choice, please click the link in the description below. And please be sure to click on the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the great upcoming videos and interviews and podcasts and recorded coaching sessions and all the great stuff that we do to help you stop binging, eating, and overeating. Okay, click the link in the description below. Go do it now. Thanks.